Hey there, everybody. This is Drew Stevens, your retirement professor from Wisdom to Wealth. You ever feel like you're doing everything right? You're saving, you're investing, you're planning, and yet somehow your retirement still feels like it's one really bad spreadsheet away from disaster? Yeah, I do as well. And the reason might actually surprise you. It's not the IRS, it's not capital gains, it's not the tax you can't see, you can't avoid, and you know what? You can't write a check for it. It's inflation. Think about it. Inflation is like that friend or family member who shows up uninvited to every party. They eat all of your snacks and leaves you wondering why your fridge is empty. That's your retirement nest egg if you ignore it. And let me tell you something. Ignoring it can actually cost hundreds of thousands of dollars over a lifetime. Let me break this down for you. Inflation is the silent killer of purchasing power. The money you save today doesn't buy as much tomorrow. Here's an example. $100,000 today buys what $88,000 would have bought you 3 years ago. Over 12 years at a 3% inflation rate, $500,000 in today's dollars could be worth just $400,000 in purchasing power. That's $100,000 gone. Poof. You may as well have burned it in the backyard. Imagine planning for your dream vacation only to realize you can't afford the lifestyle that you were counting on. Add market volatility into the mix, and 1 year your portfolio jumps 20%. The next year it drops 15%, and inflation just doesn't nibble. It bites. And here's a statistic that really makes this clear. According to the United States Bureau of Labor and Statistics, inflation itself has averaged around 3.2% per year over the last 30 years. That means your money loses roughly half its value every 22 to 23 years. If it isn't growing above inflation, half. So ignoring it is not just risky, it's a silent disaster waiting to happen. And right now, you hear the Fed trying to get inflation down to 2%. Well, how are they getting it down to 2% if it's averaging out 3.2% over the last 30 years? Here's the frustrating part. Many financial advisors, even well-meaning ones, plan for retirement using low, outdated inflation assumptions. Some assume 2%, others even lower. But history tells us a story. Over the past decade, inflation has often run 4 to 5%, and some years even higher, like in March of 2024 when it was 9%. Let me share a story. A client of mine, let's just call her Linda, came to me thinking she was all set. She had about $750,000 saved, clear plan for retirement. She was confident. She even told me, Drew, I got this. But when we modeled her withdrawals at a realistic 4% inflation, suddenly her comfortable lifestyle fell short by over $25,000 a year in today's dollars. That ain't small change, folks. That is a whole Social Security check for a year. The trip, that's canceled. Home renovations, delayed, and even downsizing later in life, something she had never imagined. Linda's not alone. A survey by the Insured Retirement Institute found that 58% of retirees underestimate the impact of inflation on their retirement income. More than half of the retirees could be in a serious wake-up call if they don't plan for this hidden tax. And most of those that are in trouble are ones that say, I got this. I don't need any financial help. It's great to have a portfolio that's at 8, 9, 10% per year. But if you haven't planned for inflation, it doesn't matter if the damn portfolio is up 15%. At some point, that portfolio is going to get a bite. So what do we do about it? 1, there's realistic planning. 2, strategies that position the portfolio to withstand both inflation and market volatility. There are some strategies I've used with clients. 1, diversified portfolios with growth and defensive assets to balance risk. 2, inflation-protected securities like TIPS, which adjust for the Consumer Price Index. Annuities with inflation adjustments. And I know what you're saying. You've been taught, you've been told, you've listened to pundits that annuities suck. They don't suck. It just depends on who it is, what's going on, and what the mix of the portfolio is. But there are some annuities with inflation adjustments, guarantee income that actually grows over time. Here's a real example. John, a retired engineer, came to me worried about his fixed income portfolio. We implemented a mix of tips and dividend-paying equities and a small portion of an inflation-adjusted annuity. Today, even though he's withdrawn 4% annually for 5 years, his portfolio purchasing power is virtually intact. He's enjoying retirement, traveling, and hasn't touched his lifestyle plans. And let's not forget, inflation just doesn't affect your living expenses, it affects healthcare, insurance premiums, and even taxes. If your plan doesn't account for rising costs across the board, you could be looking at a huge shortfall down the road. Think about it this way. If you're a retiree needing 60 grand per year, at 4% inflation in 20 years, you'll need almost $132,000 a year to maintain the same lifestyle. If you ignore inflation, you're facing a gap, and that is going to drain your savings. Here's the harsh truth, and I wouldn't be the retirement professor if I didn't tell you the harsh truth. Ignoring inflation isn't just risky. It's frickin' reckless, and it's everywhere. I've seen retirees follow advice that looks safe on paper only to wake up a few years into retirement realizing their plan just doesn't cover reality. I call it the flip-flop marathon. You think you're ready, you show up to run the race, and you realize everyone else has the proper shoes while you're in flip-flops. Not only will it hurt, but you're probably not going to finish. Combine this with market volatility and the picture really gets even worse. Retirees who withdraw funds during the market dips without accounting for inflation can see their nest eggs itself deplete faster than expected. It's not just the numbers. It's lifestyle, it's security, and peace of mind disappearing silently. So here's the deal. Awareness is step 1. Action, step 2. Don't wait. Head over to my website, grab some free resources itself on inflation-protected retirement strategies, or better yet, just schedule a call. It's going to cost you nothing. Come in, let's review your plan, and see if inflation or even market volatility is quietly draining your future. Remember, the best time to protect your retirement was yesterday. The second best time is today. Don't leave retirement to chance. Play smart, plan smart, and plan informed. And as always, keep building your wisdom and your wealth. Thanks for tuning in to Wisdom to Wealth. I would love you to share this episode with a friend planning for retirement. Leave a review and remember, every dollar saved is a step towards financial freedom. Not only if it survives the hidden tax. I'm Drew Stevens, your retirement professor, reminding you that the right plan today keeps your retirement dreams alive tomorrow. I'll see you next time.